Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to do a quick video and discuss some of the uh, crankbaits I throw during the winter time when water is cold. Uh, I'll throw some of these even in 30-degree water. Uh, and a lot of people doesn't think that you can throw a fast-moving crankbait and still catch fish in the wintertime, but I do all the time. I'd much rather throw a crankbait than a dumb jerkbait. I hate jerkbait fishing, but if that's the only thing they're biting, that's what I'll throw. But I usually start out with some of these just to see if I can get them to hit one of these crankbaits and cover some water and catch some fish without having to pull out the jerkbait. One of my favorites is going to be the old shad rap. This is the purple olive craw. It is a wonderful color. This is December I think it's December 12th, I believe, maybe 13th. I don't remember, somewhere right in there. Middle of December. And all my days run together. But anyway, water temperatures in most lakes still in the 50s. So the shad rap is a great way to go. I like using crawdad colors mostly. I do still use some shad patterns, but in the shad rap this time of year, I usually throw the crawdad patterns. It's not quite cold enough for the reds to come into play yet. I've got some reds for whenever it does get to be that time to throw the red crankbaits. But this time of year, I'm still throwing either shad or crawdad crankbaits. Another good one I like to throw is the Berkeley Fritside. Berkeley Fritside crankbait is a good one. And I've also got it in the ghost red color. I'll throw the Fritside in the shad wraps on steeper banks, 45 degree to steeper banks, or on flats that has a good quick drop off. I'll fish them along that drop, and usually when you bring that crankbait out along that drop, that's when they'll nail it, right there at the edge of that drop. Another one I like to use, same way, the steeper banks, 45 degree steeper banks are on the flats that has a good channel swing on it where it drops off quick, is the old DT 6, 8, and 10s. Most time I don't have to go any deeper. Sometimes you can go up to the DT 14s if you need to. But for the most part, I'll throw that shad rap Fritside, and one of my all-time favorites is the Spurl Rock Crawler. This is the ghost green color. It's got that little orange spot on the back of it right there. That right there is killer crankbait. If you don't have this color, this crankbait in this color, you need to go buy you a pile of them right now. That is my favorite crankbait. It'll be tied on all the time. Then my next favorite color will be this blue one. This blue works really well. But then we've also got the ghost green. It's got some little orange spots on its belly. But that ghost green with that orange spot on his tail, that dude is money, and it's won me a lot of money. Um, those are some of my top picks for wintertime cold water cranking. Also, you can also use the OG Slims. These OG Slims are great for when they're up shallower. A lot of people doesn't think the fish is shallow this time of year. But there's a lot more fish shallow than what people think. You can get around stumps, laydowns, rock piles in shallow water, even when the water's cold, and they'll be hanging out around them. And you can pick off a lot of good fish even with that OG Slim. One thing about all these baits that they have in common, all of them have in common, is they're a tighter wobble. They don't have a huge back and forth wobble. They'll wobble really tight. And that's what the fish wants when the water's cold. Because the fishes and the crawdads and the shad, all of their metabolism goes down. So they're not as fast. They don't move as much. They don't have as much body movement as they do in the warmer water, whenever they're always in motion and moving and chasing and all that. So you want something with a tighter wobble, and those are some of my favorites for the tighter wobble, anywhere out to 12, 14 foot deep. Here's another one. This is the Tactical Bassin DD75, and it is an awesome bait. You can speed crank with it. It was specially made for speed cranking. And what I mean by speed cranking is just what it sounds like. You reel it fast. Burn, 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 pause, burn, pause, burn, pause, burn, 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 pause. And those fish just can't stand it, and they'll come up there and annihilate that thing. And this DD75 will go out to about 18 feet deep. I usually throw all these crankbaits on 10-pound line. That 8 or 10-pound line, you can get these baits, all these baits, down to their deepest point by using that lighter line. The bigger line you use, the shallower they will run. So anyway, those are the baits. Those are my favorite cold water baits. The retrieves are gonna vary. Just depends on what the fish wants. You just have to do trial and error, seeing what the fish wants that day. Sometimes they want a kind of a steady retrieve. Other times you want a slow retrieve and a pause, stop and go retrieve. Other days you throw it out there and you'll kind of get it down to depth. And then once you get it down to depth, you just pull your rod. You have your rod tip close to the water. You just kind of sweep your rod tip real slow. And then when you're taking up the slack, it gives a little bit of a pause. But 99% of the time, they just want it banging the bottom. Most of the time, you want to be banging off the rocks, banging it off the laydowns, the stumps. That helps give it an erratic reaction and or erratic action, and the fish will come up and nail it. But any of those baits that I just mentioned, guys, that's some baits that you need to have in your arsenal. The Shad Rap, Spro Rock Crawler, the DT line, Rapala DT line, uh, Rapala OGs, and the tactical bass. And all the crankbaits, you can do the slow to medium retrieve and stop and go retrieve and sweep it with your rod. But the tactical bassin is the only one that you can use, really the only one that you can use to burn it, to really fish it fast and pause, burn, 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 pause, burn, pause, burn, 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 pause, burn, pause. Just stop and go, stop and go, stop and go. It's the only one that you can do that with. That's what it's designed to do. These others, if you try to burn them, sometimes they'll roll them up on their side, and you don't get the depth or the action that you want out of the crankbait to catch the fish. So anyway, if you want to burn a crankbait, get you some of the Tactical Bass and DD series crankbaits. They're really, really good crankbaits. But as you can see, I like my Spro rock crawlers, and I like my Rapalas. Anyway, I pair all that up. 10 pound, 6 to 8, 10 pound test, 100% fluorocarbon line with whatever length of rod that you're comfortable with. I usually use a 7 to 7.3 foot rod, medium light action rod for crankbaits. Throwing these treble hooks. You don't want too stiffer rod. You'll pull those treble hooks right out of their mouth. You want a medium light action rod. I like throwing them on my spinning tackle myself. A lot of people would rather throw it on bait casters, which is fine. I throw them on bait casters too, but I throw a lot of them on spinning tackles as well.